Welcome, I'm Kinetic Symphony. This is Dave. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the supernatural. Case file number 1727, written by General Chicken 99. Blink and she's there. Megan's supernatural Flair. I got a story for you. Both my friends and I, let's call her Megan, were fully aware of these instances and both completely shocked when they occurred. We still talk about them to this day. In high school, during a pep rally, I don't know if y'all did those, but it was like a day where the grades battled it out for fun in the gym. Everyone's energy is high. Maybe energetically, this caused the phenomenon. Anyway, all of the students were going crazy, and the stairs and hallways and a lunch table area were packed. I was squished between kids downstairs, and I could see my friend Megan squished between kids upstairs. It was loud, so I motioned for her to make it down to me. Just then, a giant loogie comes hurtling towards me and hits me on the shoulder. In an impossible instant, no exaggeration, Megan was by my side. She was pissed. She saw who did it and came down to help me. But when we were together, we both had the realization of, holy crap, how did you get down here so fast? It would have been impossible to make it down here, even if the stairs and halls were empty and weren't packed with kids. We were freaked out. Second time this happened with the same girl, Megan. I was in the bathroom crying. Something bad had just happened to me. I texted her to come. She was far on the other side of the campus. Just then I hear footsteps very near down the hall, jogging towards the bathroom. It's her. Again, we were both freaking out and realizing how fast she came to me. It wasn't just exceptionally fast for a human. It was humanly impossibly fast. And to this day, we refer to these instances as teleporting. Don't know if that's a correct term, but we were also in high school. About 13 years ago, before I knew all about glitches. I still wonder about those instances, what really happened. She was a very special girl. I wouldn't doubt for a second she has powers of some sort. We lost contact, but here and there, when I see her seldom post on social media, she's in another remote country, making me wonder yet again, how the hell did she get all the way over there? We talked about it many times in the past. She had nothing to report other than she literally just was standing there 1 minute and then she was here. It was instantaneous for her. We noticed at both instances, or when she was in an emotionally charged state of mind. She experienced a lot of physical abuse as a child. I wonder if she learned at a young age to travel away from her body. She was super smart, like she was an AP kid, super into physics and chemistry. Case file number 1727. Blink and she's there. Megan's supernatural Flair. The idea that a high mental energy area, an environment with condensed mental energy, could be related to these space-time portals. Maybe they sparked the creation of them. In some cases. But it's all accidental, subconscious. No one is directly thinking of it. You know, this even reminds me of Stranger Things with Elle. I won't spoil anything. This is pretty, right at the start. But the idea, of human beings having the ability to affect the world and even into different dimensions. Well, that is certainly an idea that I like. And if true, it makes you wonder if we definitely focused our minds together into a focal point, we could maybe accomplish anything. But I think the most interesting aspect of the story is how, from her perspective, if she crossed these space-time portals, or if it's her ability herself, she wasn't aware of it. It's like you're walking along and then you're just a mile ahead. And you just don't realize it because it's so seamless. There's no sound, there's no visual effect, there's no noise. If you cross these space-time portals, they really do converge different points in space. And it's seamless as walking from one step to the next. That it's just so seamless to me indicates that it is man-made, either through our minds or technology. It's just too perfect to be natural. Case file number 1728, written by Shuzi 987. Twice the pain, a sorrowful refrain. 7 years ago, while visiting my grandparents, they told me their next-door neighbor's son committed an ending in their house a few days prior. He was about 30 and had some tough mental health struggles. It was fairly traumatic as he had children in the house who witnessed the event. The children were sent to my grandparents' house for a few hours, while ambulances were called and the scene was cleared up. It was clearly horrendous for all involved. The somber conversation took up most of the afternoon with my grandmother breaking down in tears. My grandmother sadly passed between then and now, and my grandfather is also getting on in life. My mother called me a few weeks ago to tell me my grandparents' neighbor's son had committed an ending the day before, and essentially retold me the entire story, down to the children going to my granddad's house while their home is cleared up. I told her I knew, and it happened years ago. She told me it was just yesterday. Both utterly confused, I ended the call and was genuinely worried about my mother. She's late 50s now, retelling me old stories. So I called my very elderly granddad, who broke down on the phone and was utterly shell-shocked, telling me he had to look after the poor kids. So I'm thinking maybe my granddad is having issues with his memory and has retold to my mother, and somehow she didn't remember it happening years ago? Wanting to check my own sanity at this point, I called my daughter and she confirmed with me that I had told her the guy had passed away years ago. It was common knowledge, and I'm sure we had discussed it many times. We came to the conclusion my grandfather was accidentally gaslighting my mom. Only he wasn't. The funeral was the following week. They both attended, and the death was in the local newspaper. My granddad has zero recollection of telling me with my grandma years ago. Case notes file 1728. Twice the pain, a sorrowful refrain. So this is a story of sadness, somber notes repeated out of order. You and your daughter somehow bore witness to a tragedy 7 years before it actually happened. The cause and effect are reversed, or maybe a space-time portal is again in play, and you simply saw into the future, a possible future, but a probable one. In this case, because it really did happen. Maybe some details were different, but you wouldn't focus on those. You would focus on the fact that your mind is blown because this already happened and apparently didn't. How the hell would you react to this kind of event? I know I would. Even knowing possible theories on how this could happen, if something major happened to me, and then 7 years later it happened again, my mind would not process that. It's unbelievable, and yet it really does happen to so many people. Incredible. Case file number 1729, written by Kenakuhi. Anger's Echo, the Spirit's Shadow. It follows. That's how I call this experience. When I was 20, I visited someone's apartment and had the strangest urge to spurt out. There's an older man here, and he's very angry at you for something. He became very upset and started demanding, "Why are you saying that? How could you know that?" Honestly, he was becoming a bit scared. He was so upset. I apologized, as I had no idea why I would even say something so strange out of nowhere. I explained I got this weird urge and feeling when I looked in a specific corner of the room. When he calmed down, he explained that years ago, he was married and his dying father-in-law told him, "If you ever hurt my daughter, I will haunt you forever." He did end up hurting the daughter and a bad divorce ensued. Apparently ever since that, he has had this feeling of being followed. He actually even moved countries and still didn't feel safe. And I believe he said he feels especially uneasy about that specific corner. 100% he never told me any of this, not even a hint. I didn't know he used to be married, didn't know anything about his religion or spirituality, etc. His friends never mentioned any of this. So what came over me, I have no idea. But there was an older man, and he was angry. Case notes file 1729, Anger's Echo, the Spirit's Shadow. Prior spiritual attunement. If you direct your mind towards a goal, and you say, "Yes, if I die, this is what's going to happen," I think you're basically programming your own soul. The fragment that is left behind. Even though in quantum immortality most of your soul goes away, I think there's an imprint of your soul, or a small segment of it that is left behind here. And you can program that little bit that remains to do what you want. If you declare it with intent, with serious vigor, then yeah. So it's almost like a failsafe. If you want to protect someone, although in this case, you can't necessarily command your soul to do something that souls can't do. So you can't have them kill someone after the fact. I don't think that would work. But stick behind and haunt them? Yeah, follow through on the threat. Apparently you can definitely do that. Now time for the quote of the day. Pop quiz, hotshot. There's a bomb on a bus. Once the bus goes 50 miles an hour, the bomb is armed. If it drops below 50, it blows up. What do you do? Howard Payne. From the movie Speed. A true action classic. But I think there's an interesting philosophical debate within this framework, because to what extent can you risk other people's lives to save your own, or even save a whole bus of people? It kind of goes into the trolley problem, but this is more where you're directly involved with the actions and consequences. So it's even more complicated. If you haven't seen the movie, I still won't spoiler it, but you really should watch it. It's such a classic. Go watch it. I know if I was in that situation, I would definitely try to help everyone on board, even risk my own life to do it. It just seems like the right thing to do. But there could be moments, like if the bus is on a track where you can't veer it off, and it's going to crash into people, and maybe even blow up in a mall or something. Do you just sacrifice everyone on board? I don't know. That would be so complicated. I guess until I'm in that situation, which I hope I never am, I can't really know what I would do. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.